Next individual.
Number 2.
When I look at number 2, I'm intrigued with you because I feel like you're divided. There is a side of yourself that you have been wanting to explore, and the practical side of yourself is saying, don't waste your time. That's not logical. But it's not actually a war between the female side of yourself and the male side of yourself. What it is a conflict in thinking between what you perceive as being the logical side of yourself and what you perceive as being the intuitive side of yourself. There is really this unique positioning that you're in. And I think it's healthy. I think it's good you're going through it because you're challenging yourself and you're stretching yourself. And this is very, very good. Now, you do need to watch your diet. And I use the word diet specifically. It's not for losing weight. It is for the understanding of what your body needs nutritionally. And that is a journey that's going to encompass your life over the next 5 years. And you need to know you've got good strength, you've got good physical stamina. You don't have to be concerned about being horribly sick, but you're learning about your body in a whole different way, And by the way, I have a guest. The program is airing this evening at 8 o'clock regarding fatigue to fabulous, written by a physician, Dr. Teitelbaum. Amazing man. I encourage you to listen to it, all of you, because his perspectives on staying well are just so grounded, so down to earth. It's amazing. So anyway, I'll just mention that. If you have a chance to listen to the archive for this evening's show, I recommend it highly. Okay, next person.
Number 11.
Number 11. I am seeing you being recognized. The image that I'm getting is as if there's a crown that is put on your head by someone. And this represents to me that you are going to be given not just recognition, but also new responsibilities. And this is going to be something that is going to require a lot of dedication, a lot of integrity on your part, but you're fully capable of handling these new responsibilities that are coming your way. You also need your alone time. That is very important for you. And you need to be able to appreciate and relish those quiet moments when maybe you're just looking at some hummingbirds or you are reading a book. There's nothing going on. There's absolute quiet around you. Savor that, because you're going to be very, very much involved in activities that are going to keep you going, like the Energizer Bunny. Savor those quiet moments because you won't have many of them. Next person.
Number 7.
When I look at number 7, I feel as if I'm trying some new things on. And I'm seeing you sort of standing in front of a mirror and saying, well, let me try this on. And you try on a piece of clothing and you go, yeah, don't like that. Then you say, let me try this on. And then I'm seeing you trying different colors and looking at different things. This is good. Because without exploration, without being able to examine different aspects, you are really going to be very, very frustrated. And don't try to fit yourself into a box. You do not want to be in a box of any kind this time. And I know that the sense of confinement may get to you. Use your imagination. Do art, turn on music, dance around the living room, whatever it is you feel like doing. But don't get stuck. Try new foods, cook something you never cooked before. Take a walk around a block, whatever it is that it takes to get you so that you are trying different things. And eventually, and I give you about 9 months, you're going to find what you feel is something new that you're very comfortable in and you're going to enjoy immensely. Next person.
Number 12.
Number 12, food. First thing that I'm getting with number 12, nutrition is very important to you. A lot of stress. I am looking at you going through so many different experiences with the body feeling like it's out of sync. I would say do a trial by taste if you can. A little bit of something, maybe put yourself on something like a Spartan food program and you make the choice about what you want. and then see if you're having any reactions to certain foods. Keep a diary, and then maybe add something, see if there's anything that changes. If it doesn't, then say, okay, that's all right. But do this testing on yourself. You'd really be good at kinesiology. I'd like to encourage you to consider that. And if you have a partner that can work with you on the kinesiology, I think that that is going to be a very, very good thing for you to do. But there's something here in your entire physiological system that is altering, and it could have something to do with the acids in the stomach, but I feel it's more about what the body is requiring now. Maybe you'd want to do some blood tests, but whatever it is, it's as if I need to know how to make food balance more with what my body needs. And this is going to take a little bit of time to do. Next individual, please.
Number 6.
All right, when I look at number 6, what I feel is going on here, it's like you've got some boxing gloves on and you're ready to go, you're just ready to go to town. And then I'm seeing you saying, no, that's not really what I want to do. You're taking the boxing gloves off, but you're a bit frustrated because there is a tremendous strength inside of you. And this masculine side of the self really wants to prove something, but you go, well, if I use the boxing gloves, that's not going to be much appreciated. True. However, I think what's happening is that you're growing up into an awareness of yourself and how you want to communicate differently, not just with other people, but with yourself. And you're cross-examining so many different things in your life. And I'm watching this and I'm fascinated with it because it's as if I see you over here and you're cross-examining yourself over here. It might be something like Gestalt, where you've got 2 chairs, you're sitting in one, and then you put yourself in the other chair and you answer yourself. And I watch this. You are really making some big breakthroughs. Whatever's going on in your life, whatever is stimulating this, you are making some incredible breakthroughs. And this is a pattern that you're going to follow through 2024. And then I'm just seeing you beaming because of this self cross-examination and your desire to improve certain skills. You're going to have a better economic positioning. You're going to just do so much better all the way around because of this that you're going through. This is not a battle here. This is exploration, and it's with yourself. Next person.
Number 14.
All right, number 14, when I'm focusing on you, I am looking at you in what I call out-of-door garb. You got a big walking stick. There's a beautiful scene in front of you, and you're sort of looking at it and saying to yourself, which way do I want to go? Because there's a small body of water, and though you see a mountain that's right in front of you, you don't know whether you want to go to the mountain or whether you want to go to these other small mountains. You're just sort of at a standstill right now. That's okay. Take the time to observe the territory you're in. When you're ready, move at your own pace. And I'm seeing you walking forward with a walking stick. You are alone, but you're not alone. You don't feel alone at all. In fact, you feel totally free. And this is a wonderful feeling. And you're looking at the mountain that I'm seeing straight across from you. You are looking at that mountain and saying, you know, I'd really like to go to that mountain, but I think I'm going to travel this route. And you're going to make a choice. And I'm seeing you going off to the right. You're making a choice. I'm seeing you eventually setting up a campfire. And of course, this is all symbology, but you're not rushing it. You're saying, I'm going to do it in my own time and in my own way. And then I'm getting a fast forward and I'm seeing you actually climbing to the top of this particular mountain. And you are saying to yourself, wow, look at the view that I have here. And it's as if you take the view and you put it in your heart and you say, this belongs to me always. You go down the mountain and you go in another direction, but you're doing it in your own way and you're very happy. Next.
Number 4.
Okay. Number 4. When I'm watching number 4, I'm seeing you at a card table. I'm seeing people dishing out cards. and you're playing a game of some kind, but you can see everybody else's card. And when I look at your cards, I'm seeing the king, the queen, and it is a symbol with the hearts. And then I'm looking at the ace of spades, and I'm also looking at the joker. Now, what this is telling me, because you're able to see everybody else's cards, it is telling me personal relationships mean a great deal. King and queen of the hearts. That is your family, anything with family, it is solid. That home is wonderful. Ace of spades. There is someone that you will hear of, actually two people that are going to be passing. And this is within the next year. I would say within the next 12 months. That's the way I should phrase it. And the joker. When I'm looking at the joker, I am not looking at a cute joker that you might expect in a king's court. No, 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 not at all. What I am looking at is a joker that reminds me of the horrific movies that have been made where you have this awful, ugly face. That's the type of joker I'm seeing. There is someone that is going to cross your path that may want to present certain image, but when you see them for who they are, you need to know you get rid of that card. You do not have an involvement with that person. You're highly psychic, highly sensitive. Pay attention. Don't let guises fool you. 2024, I think this individual will be in your space by that time. Next individual.
Number 7.
When I look at number 7, I'm a bit perplexed because I'm getting multiple images coming in very fast. I am seeing an old cathedral. I am looking at the image of a monk. I am looking at a congregation of people, and then I'm seeing a horrific fire. I am looking at devastation. I'm hearing the screams of people. I think what I'm picking up on is a past life where there was a time where you may have been a monk deeply involved in religious services. I think this is during the time of the Inquisition. Ugly, very, very ugly. And I'm seeing it tearing you apart. And I think you died at a relatively young age when we think of our time today. I think you probably were in your early 40s, about 43 years of age, and you vowed you would never, ever become involved in any group that would have an association that would bring harm to people and use supposedly what was, what do I want to say, sacred for the purpose of doing evil. And this is very, very important to you. Your integrity is very important to you, but there's something here that is a carryover from that past life. And I'm looking at it, and I think there is that warrior side of yourself as well. You are a fighter, and you may not always want to present that side of yourself because you don't feel that that's what you should do. But don't ever think that that side of yourself should be hidden, because there's a place for the warrior and there is a place for the monk. There is a place where both of them can merge and they can create a harmony and a balance in the environment that they're in. Next.
That should be everyone, but I am going to take one moment. If I have missed anyone, don't unmute yourself and say so, but if you can put it in the chat that I missed you, that would be great. But I think I got everyone. No one has said anything, so I think we're good.
All right, why don't we open up let's see who wants to ask me a question.
Well, if you want, we can start at the beginning of the first person who was who you read for.
Okay, that's fine, however you want to do it.
Curly Nancy, so Nancy Muth, that was you. If you would like to unmute yourself and have a discussion.
What was it I said to you, Nancy? I don't know.
To examine my belief system, that it had no validity, or my past belief system had no validity. It had something to do with my past. But don't let the cultural thing eat you up, and I shouldn't be concerned about money.
Okay, when and again, I don't remember what I get because it comes in so fast. With that information, not worrying about money is very important because you're going to have the opportunities to generate the cash that you really need to have. But you're also going to be going through a great deal of shift and change with the way that you look at things. So all of this is going to be extraordinarily important to you. And I think you're going to be examining on a subtle level some of the belief systems that you have had, and you don't realize that they're there. They can often be in a subconscious level, and all of a sudden it'll pop up and you'll think, gee, where did that come from? That's not me. That's not really who I am. But you pull yourself back. Does that make sense?
Well, I think we're all doing that now, where
Mhm.
things come forward that it's like, well, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
And I mean, Black Lives Matter, who knew how little I knew?
That's the truth. That's
That is
always the case.
Yep. And yeah, so I think sure. And not especially a bad thing. It's always good to go with the flow and change.
Well, yes, but being mindful of how the changes is being done so that you understand it,
Ah,
so that you see it. It's just not, gee, this is a change. It's because you have a deeper understanding when you are mindful about it. And that makes all the difference in the world.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here this evening.
It was fun.
Okay, next.
So there seems like there might have been a bit of confusion with number 13 and a person who was read for number 3.
Oh.
So I don't know, number 3, if you're willing to unmute at all. I don't know if you want to discuss a bit if what you were feeling made sense for what Nancy just described, if like maybe there was an error in taking notes.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Can you guys hear me okay?
You bet.
Yeah, so I think I was number 3, which I think means I got the reading about the belief system that wasn't correct.
About which system?
So what you said to me was that I needed to be very thoughtful about belief systems because you were perceiving a lot of agitation, and I should examine the trigger because the belief system that I had adopted was not valid for me, and that it was cultural and had come from my society and also from people who had taught it to me, and that I should stop, but that it wasn't worthwhile. It wasn't supportive to me anymore. And that I should stop worrying about money because my money situation would be stable by June 6th.
That's very interesting because yours is very similar to the one that I just spoke with, Nancy.
Well, that's my theory, is that actually she thought she was number 3 also.
Yeah, I think I had number 3 written down.
Right, and that she was really number 13, which means she got the first reading, and my recollection was that was the one about teeth problems, maybe.
Well, you got me because I don't remember what I said.
You said something that she had tooth
I
problems.
definitely have a tooth problem.
Oh, okay. You were right.
Okay. All right.
Your reading was very valid for me. Belief systems is exactly what I'm having problems with. And my husband is supposed to graduate from a degree program in the beginning of June. So I'm really hoping that what you're saying means he'll have a job by the time he graduates, which would be great.
Well, more than that, I want you to know something here. When you were talking about the belief systems and the information came out about the culture, what is your genetic background? Are you European, or what other aspects do you have any knowledge about your ancestry?
So half of my ancestor is Russian and Polish Jewish, and the other half is English Scottish.
Okay, so what you've got here, let me just expand on this a little bit, because what you have got is your Scottish ancestry that has a very strong association with shamanism.
Really?
And you also have, so this has more to do with ancestral memory.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what I'm saying. Ancestral memories that you consciously, you don't even know that you got them. All right, they're there. And with the mixture of the Russian heritage, the Jewish heritage, and what was the other?
It's Russian, Polish, Jewish,
Russian.
and then Scottish, English.
Yeah, the Scottish English, that's one batch. Russian, Polish, Jewish, right there. You have got a composite of cultural beliefs that have this deep association with various superstitions and fears and rugged life. I think if you were really able to do anything on your ancestry, especially with the Russian, Jewish, Polish side, you would find that there are aspects of defensiveness that will come up with you and you don't know why it's there. It's because of that. These people were battling for their lives and a number of your ancestral tracks. So you've come in through an ancestral line that is extraordinarily potent and powerful. And so there's a lot there in cellular memory that contributes to belief systems. It's an intriguing area. It's very, very amazing how we carry these things and we little by little discover them.
Yeah, I actually have been getting inklings of this, that there's a lot of fear and we lost family members in the Holocaust. So it's not all way back in the past, but I'm really intrigued by the Scottish shamanism aspect of things. That wasn't something I had considered.
Well, understand something though, with your Jewish legacy, you have cellular memory of Jewish shamanism. The Jewish faith, as you know it, has evolved from centuries and centuries of different cultural influences from different parts of the world. So if you're becoming aware of these things, examine them and realize what you can apply in what is valid today, but what else can be released. And what I'm looking at is some kind of a ritual for a release that allows you to say, you know, I bless my ancestors, but I don't carry their burdens.
Great. That's super helpful. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. So I think it was okay what you got.
Oh, what you got, what you did for me was perfect. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
Would Carolyn Harp like to ask any more questions?
Oh, I see a note up on the screen from Helen Cameron. She didn't get anything.
Okay, I just, I'm still thinking about mine. I
Okay.
think I need to kind of let it soak in and see what comes up in my life, and then I'll probably understand it better. I wrote it down, so I have it.
Okay, what'd you have?
Let me see. Oh, there it is. And it's important not, I wish I could repair something, this grief. And I have had a bad mood. Now, I've had mood problems recently, but I thought it was this COVID thing, you know, and just the whole end of the elections and whatnot, you know, and I thought that had to do with it. But I've had mood problems, and I'm trying to think of what I might be grieving.
You know, grief is a very interesting thing. And with what we've gone through with the COVID, sometimes because of the isolation and what is evolving, if you can just take time and have maybe a pad of paper in front of you and have a pen and just let your hand rest on that pad of paper and allow yourself to say, if there's anything that I need to release here, please let me know what it is.
Let me write this down here now. If there's anything, right.
If there is anything that you need to release.
If there is anything I need to release.
To show you what that might be.
If there's anything I need to release, RELEASE, to show me what that is, to show.
Keep it simple.
Me. Now, this is very interesting because part of what you said was also about writing it down. So this is
Ah.
very much a challenge.
Don't you love
So
it?
much to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what this is showing you is there's something here. If I was feeling like you had tremendous grief inside,
Mm,
then that means that there is that, I'll call it a shadow self,
mm,
and we all have them. And sometimes there are, just like you mentioned, maybe something with the election or being confined, whatever, and it triggers that inside of us. And it's getting that out,
mhm,
getting it out and acknowledging it, not being afraid of it, not being overwhelmed by it, but just saying, whoa, wow, maybe I'm scared, or maybe, I'm mad, just it's making it okay to be who you are.
mhm.
And
Yeah, so what I need to do is explore it like in sort of automatic writing kind of things.
that might be just wonderful for you, just perfect.
It's been a long time since I've ever tried it, but I can do that. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And who's next?
One thing, if it's possible, if we could address what happened with Helen, if Helen's available right now. Donna, you are so fast. Somehow we didn't get through to Helen sufficiently when you were doing her reading. And so just if there's anything you can share with her now, that would be great.
Okay, well, with Helen, what I would say with Helen is, number one, I want you to have a thorough physical. I feel like it's very important that you take care of yourself physically, and there is some discomfort in the body. And I'm feeling it down in my pelvis area, also with the lower back when I'm focusing on you. And I'm looking at this, and I think you're carrying a lot of stress, but I also think that it would be very wise, and I know it's not easy to get in to see a doctor, but I would like to see you have a real thorough physical. I'd like to see you have the blood work, and let's look at what the body is trying to tell you, because you're not sleeping well. And when you wake up in the mornings, often you're feeling so tired. It's like you've been out astral traveling for hours and hours and hours, and you're just saying, I just am not feeling rested. So there's a combination of things that are going on with you, and I really think that you need to give yourself that physical attention.
Even though I go twice a year.
There's something that's not right. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling it throughout my body. It's, I've given you a couple of spots, but it's my entire body. I feel like if I could unzip myself out of my body and get a replacement and send the other one off to the repair shop, I'd like to do that. Of course, we're not able to do that, but that's what you'd like to do. And it is not uncommon, but there's something going on that can bring the body back into harmony. And that is what I would like to see you do.
Well, what should I tell my doctor then? Because I go twice a year, and I see my cardiologist and I see my primary care doctor.
I think you need to keep a diary on how you're feeling and what you're going through. And you need to be aware of that level of exhaustion. I really think that you will be able to tell your doctor something, but the challenge is they can't read your mind. And so they have to have information from you.
Well, I get all these weird dreams that don't make a lot of sense, like last night. But I don't feel like I am tired when I get up in the morning.
Well, then just keep a diary, because what I'm seeing is a form of tiredness. It's a fatigue in the body, the whole body. And if you're dreaming that intensively, it may have just become such a norm for you that you don't give it a consideration. You just think, well, this is just the way I feel. You're not sick where you're down on the floor wailing, but it's the sense in the body. So I would encourage you to be aware of any signals that your body may be giving you and keep a diary on it. And it may be a certain patterning in the experiences that you're having with the body, and just keep that diary. And then you'd be able to share it with your physician.
Okay. I
Just
have
a
gone,
suggestion.
I have gone to see someone a couple months ago about my digestion, and they really didn't find too much of anything. So, and it's also the foods that I'm eating. I'm wondering if I'm eating the right foods. That's the other issue.
That is something that, dependent on one's age and depends on your physical activity,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of self-evaluation that you can make relative to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that can contribute to what I'm feeling with the body. You know, it's just throughout my physical self that I'm feeling it. But again, I'm not feeling horrific pain. I'm just getting this discomfort. So if you have been having some issues with the digestive system and you're trying to figure things out, your standard physician may not be able to tell you very much. You know, I mentioned that I've got the interview this evening at 8 o'clock with Dr. Teitelbaum. And I think you find his conversation and his material really interesting to be able to read and also to hear his conversation, because he is very practical and very down to earth.
So is that on YouTube?
No, it's not on YouTube. Just all you have to do is click Donna Seebo. Just type in Donna Seebo.
Okay.
And there's a link that will come up. And if you just, put my name out there on the internet, you'll find that there's a link. It takes you directly to the network page. And he is going to be, after the program this evening, I will be putting him into the player. So his interview will be played every 13 to 15 hours, but he's also already in the archives. And you would just go through the archives, go to the very bottom of the list, because I've got hundreds of shows in there. Go to the very bottom of the list. You'll find Dr. Teitelbaum, and just put a check mark in the empty box and then play selected file, and you'll have the interview right there.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
James Pratt, would you like to do a follow-up question?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I've been having a little technical difficulties. It looks like my video is kind of choppy. Do you guys see the video up or not? Or, okay, I can see it's good. Yeah, sure. I was 15. It was about you seeing a large horizon. Do you recall that, or?
Yes, I do, because I can see that very clearly in my mind right now, because that horizon was unlimited and you were sort of overwhelmed, if I remember correctly. It was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. And you said something about next year and from 21 through 23, 2021 to 2023 could be very busy for me, but I got to like stay focused on what it is I'm trying to do. I also have the, which is right on for me, always trying to control everything. That is really me all the time. And it's been even more so in the last few months. And it's like really focused on the family situation and on the health situation and a bunch of stuff. It's really difficult for me to try to get a control, and I'm trying to like make a list and being sure I'm doing everything I need to do step by step for all kind of situations. But as soon as I get done with one thing, something else pops up.
Isn't life wonderful as a school? So keeping focus is very important, and it's not surprising to me that you're going through this, but I think it's significant. But you've got an open horizon. There's just no limit to the horizon that I was looking at. Absolutely none. But you don't know what to do with that, but you will. You will.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Z, are you interested at all in having a quick follow-up?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, I had a question. Gosh, you said a couple of things about enjoying travel, continuing on my learning, even if, we're kind of at home right now. And you mentioned potential or past life history in the Asian culture, like India or Pakistan. And I was curious if you see any more about that.
Well, with that, let's see, I've got a little tiny chip of information that's there. What I was watching in my mind, it was as if I was going in to ancient sites, some of which may be found today, but then I saw what seemed to be India, but then I was looking at Pakistan. Of course, they're so close, you know, they're very much alike. And
Sure.
I just feel that there is this awareness and actually a comfort with being in an environment of the Asian influence in that, you know, that kind of a cultural environment. But I really don't remember much of anything else. I just remember seeing those magnificent buildings, and it was very, very old, and or they were very, very old. But that's all I remember of that. What else was said?
Let's see, you were talking, right after that, you mentioned remembering to be like a child, open-minded, like an open mind and attitude. And then I'd find a new level of, I think it was perception and understanding.
Okay, so with that being said, I think in relationship to the ancient cultures that I was seeing, that there is an awareness that you would be able to come to accept and feel good with, that will dovetail with whatever it is that you wish to explore. And I think that these cultures have something to offer you, that whether you travel via the internet, you know, through programs relating to those cultures, your curiosity is going to add to your repertoire of knowledge.
Great, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And then Arlene, I know, also wanted to have a follow-up real quick as well.
I am the garden, definitely the small patch, trying to figure out time for the gigantic garden, very diverse. And I was just wondering if you could expand it all on the what the topic is in terms of the diversity of knowledge and understanding. I do have a lot of interest, and I've got my hands in different pots, and I keep trying to figure out what direction to sort of go.
Well, I think that's what the garden is all about.
Yes.
You don't need to just focus on the daffodils. All right. I think I used the story of the woman that has the Valley of the Daffodils that people will go to visit. And when I'm looking at that information, and I think there was that association that was made, it is, she acquired what she wanted to acquire in this Valley of Daffodils by doing little things at a time. And you need to know that it's the diversity that is going to enable you to have the larger garden. So don't try to compartmentalize yourself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Denny is next, if possible.
Okay, Denny?
Getting closer to the microphone that way is helping.
I'll get really close. So that's hilarious because her reading was that she saw my mouth moving, but there was this teeny voice coming out, and that I was working on finding my big voice. She said there was like kids have their indoor quiet voice and then voice, and so that's very, very true. Just in the last couple of days, I'm thinking that I finally found my voice. You know, I'm just like, oh, that sounds like my voice. And I am working on it. Of course, when I'm listening to you, and everything's so well expressed, and there isn't even an or an end in the entire hour speech. So I was really conscious of wanting to up my game with how I speak. And it's probably not just speaking, but writing. It's the way I edit video and a whole thing of communication. So I thought that was right on. And also you talked about maybe an eye and a neck problem. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. And remember something, Denny, don't beat yourself up. Just be yourself and just allow that, yes, you may want to develop a more refined way of presenting things, but above all, don't forget to be who you are. Because when you try to mimic someone else, it just doesn't come across as well. So you just be true to yourself. You're going to do well. You're going to do very well. And the next person.
Lori Aletha.
Got it. Sorry. Hi, everyone.
No, I know how you feel.
Too many buttons. Anyways, well, you surprised me. You talked about me writing a bunch of books and something about 2027. Do you realize how old I would be if I lived that long? Good God.
Well, if you're not over 100, sweetie, I don't see why you should be concerned.
Well, I would be 99.
Well, you're still not over 100. Let me tell you something, Grandma Moses, she made it after her 90s, or, you know, she was in her 90s. And I've got a gentleman I interviewed. His name is Leo Pearlstein. I interviewed him in the first part of November. He just turned 100 years of age this year. And this man, in my interviewing him, I mean, he's got a phenomenal history with Hollywood, etc. And if you can, go in and listen to him, because he was on, I'm trying to think if it was the 2nd of November, the first week of November. And you'll find his name, Leo Pearlstein. And if you're concerned about, gee whiz, if I'm still alive in 2027, my God, I'll be 99 years old. I'd say celebrate, do a tap dance, and keep writing.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what am I writing about?
What you know. You will write about what you know.
Okay. Well, I've started to write a book about 3 times and then put it aside.
Well, you just need to have someone encourage you to follow up with it.
Okay. Yeah, because I want it to be something that would be worth reading.
You just need to write your story and your wisdom, and don't be so self-critical. You're not out trying to win the Pulitzer Prize here. What you're trying to do is share your story. That is going to be one of the gifts that you leave.
Okay. But you said
taking your vitamins, dear. You got a long road still.
Oh, I do take those. Yes, that's why I'm still here.
All right, Lori.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And who's next, Anissa?
Shelley.
Hi.
Hi, Shelley.
So one thing you said was take time to look at the shifts and changes and encapsulate them and work with them. What do you mean?
Just what I said.
I mean,
lots of times we have things that are going on. There are multiple situations that are occurring in our life. And we look at them and they go, gee whiz, I had this come out of left field. I had this come out of right field. I got this one coming up from the bottom and the other one from the top. And what you are doing within a short period of time, you are acquiring a lot of information, a lot of experience. And so what you want to do is maybe ask yourself, what is the gift of each one of these experiences? And then encapsulate them and see how they are of value to you. Does that help you understand a little better?
well, that makes sense.
Remember, every single thing that you go through, even your moments of anxiousness or whatever they might be, when you journal that, and then you can look back at it and say, what was the gift of my having this experience? What can I glean from it that will serve me? And I think you might be very pleased with the results.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Mary.
Well, apparently I have to get my act together. You said it's divided. I have one side to exploring and the other side, don't waste your time. And then it was said, it's not, and then I wrote FVM, and I don't know what that stood for.
All right, let me ask you this question. Were you the one where I saw you sitting in one chair and you were talking to yourself and you then
That was me. No,
Okay.
that was number 6.
Okay, that's number 6. All right,
I
so-
remember what the FVM means. It means it's not feminine versus masculine.
Okay, then I don't know. I remember the one with the chairs with, where I said something about Gestalt. So let's just wait for that if it's not Mary. But Mary, I don't recall now what I said.
Oh, I think she's right. The girl that just said that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know what to do with it. Should I just not think I'm wasting my time by studying, or what? It said the logical versus intuitive, which I do kind of have a scientific mind. And I want to be able to logically prove a lot of things.
Okay, I think I know what it is. All right, so I think what I got from what you have just shared is that the logic and the scientific side can harmonize with the intuitive side. They don't need to be at war with each other. They belong together. And often what happens when we get too much into the logical side, then we'll say that this doesn't make sense. Well, there's a lot relative to the intuitive area that doesn't have any logical aspect to it at all in our typical expectations of it. Yet it has perfect logic in, you might say, in the quantum field.
And the other part was about how I eat again. I always get the eating one.
Well, you know what, Mary, there may be something with your food patternings where you've been given information that was not correct for you. And to really find out what works with the body, it may end up entailing you're doing some investigation. And, you know, maybe finding someone that you could work with to help you deal with that.
I've been to so many naturopaths, so many doctors for 40 years. I've studied it. I just don't know what else to turn to. And doctors of nutrition.
Well, sometimes even doctors of nutrition aren't able to work certain things out. So I don't know. I don't have that answer for you. All I could do is give you what I get.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next person sent me something in chat. They said for number 11, hello, Donna. Thank you for your reading. Could you please elaborate on the being recognized, like someone putting a crown on my head, to enjoy my quiet moments because I will keep going, meaning busy? Is this just going to come out out of the blue? And is this work related? Thank you for your kindness.
When you mentioned that, the image of the crown being put on the head is extremely strong in my mind. And this is recognition. You will be recognized by peers. And I think it does have a direct relationship to work, but I think there's also going to be recognition on a personal level with someone that maybe you've never gotten recognition from. Who that person is, I don't know. But I can tell you this. What you do, how you do it, your integrity, your character as a person, it stands tall, and you will be recognized for what you do. And I don't have an exact time frame on that. That wasn't shown to me. And thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you so much. Let's see, Winteray. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name horribly. My apologies. If you would like to unmute and have a quick follow-up.
You are saying my name perfectly. There is not a problem with that. And Donna, I am the person who, the Gestalt, sitting in one chair and the boxing gloves and then talking and then being in the other chair. That's me. And that was perfect because I have been not exactly arguing with myself, but in order to communicate my feelings, I feel like after I've said something that's not exactly how I wanted to say it, or if I just come out and say it, I might be too harsh on how I was said it. And I know that when people get offended or hurt, they stop listening. So yes, how to communicate myself straight and honestly without hurting the other person's feelings to say things, because I never wanted to do that. And so that part, yes, I have been going through that part with myself. I have a particular, person in mind that I'm thinking about that. So I see that exactly. I love the part when you said I get this straightened out and my finances will be good in 2024. I mean, that's not that long from now. So I appreciated that, but you did the communications and going back and forth with myself. This recent situation that we have has left me by myself, talking to myself and discussing things with myself.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's really healthy. And when I saw the two chairs, and I'm seeing you sitting in one, and then you go to the other one, and you just said going back, it's a gestalt. So there's nothing unhealthy about that at all. And if you want to talk to the walls or talk to the floor, or, a lamp, whatever works, it doesn't make any difference. It's just between you and God. But that is important because you're verbalizing. You are putting it out there. You are giving energy to who you are, and you're saying, I recognize you, but I want to be able to do something differently. This is what I want to do. So you're evolving with yourself when you do this. So don't think you're nuttier than a fruitcake. You're not.
Yeah, I just noticed that when I'm upset or really concerned about something, I lose my words, and I think about later on, well, I should have said this and I should have said that. So that's what I'm working on now, is
Relax.
standing up for myself.
Yes, and that takes practice. That takes practice. And we're always going to find something wrong that maybe we didn't express it the way I've been through it myself. And I still go through it periodically. But sometimes what it's about is you're being aware of who you are and that you have something to contribute, to offer, and that you have these feelings and you're acknowledging them. That's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that. That's where, too, writing something down on a piece of paper can help you resolve sometimes the anxiousness or stress that you may feel towards yourself. I think what you're doing is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I do write things down, and then I feel better after it's over. Or after I've written it down on paper, and then I just let it go, and maybe no one else sees it or knows about it but me, but I do feel better after I've done it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
And next we have Gina or Regina.
I was the one that you told me you saw me in outdoor garb, looking at the big mountain and the little mountain and trying to decide which way to go. Sometimes it was a little frightening, but then I wasn't alone, and in the end, everything was happy.
Okay.
So here is my question. I have a medical condition with my feet, and as soon as you started talking about me walking outdoors, because that's one of the things that I do to help myself, I began to think about that maybe this is why you got that imagery. And so my question is, do you see the cause of what's happening in my feet, or the direction that I need to go, because I've seen every specialist that there is?
With your feet, there is a combination of situations that I'm looking at. Number one, it's a genetic. There is a genetic patterning here that you were born with that has evolved over a very, very long period of time because you really try to take care of yourself. And then what I'm looking at is an old injury, and it goes way back. It's I'm trying to see what it is, the time frame. 9 years of age. You were young, but the bones were very, very soft, obviously, at that time of your life, and they were growing. And so there was an old injury, and that is in part what it is. But you've also got an inflammation factor. So I'm looking at all of these little tiny points, and I'm not a doctor, but this is what's being shown to me. And there's also a relationship to your tailbone and your lower back. So all of those different points I'm getting.
That makes sense. It really
Oh,
does.
I'm so glad it makes sense to you. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I truly enjoyed listening to you. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I appreciate you staying with me through the show.
And Karen, would you like to have a quick follow-up?
Yes. So I was the person that was sitting at the card table and I could see everybody else's cards.
Oh, yes, the king and queen and the ace of spades and the joker.
Yes. So my question is, when you talked about the joker, you said, be careful, make sure you listen to your intuition. And that's one of the things I've been trying to figure out how to work on, is how to differentiate between my gut feel, my intuition, and what's just anxiety about a situation. How can I strengthen that?
Okay, your body is a very good barometer. And let's say when you meet someone, you get a feeling in your gut. It's just as if somebody's punched you right in your gut. I'll use that as an example. And you go, well, gee whiz, where'd that come from? And you don't even know the person. You just don't even understand it. Or maybe you are getting this feeling. It could be around your entire body. All right, that is your sensory factor that is coming in that may be saying to you, beware the boundaries around this person. You don't want to go there. So you sort of stand back and you may just say, oh, I'll just listen to this individual. And there is that awareness that your entire body can have. And then you don't need to get anxious. You just need to say, okay, let me just pay attention. So let's say somebody's trying to sell you insurance for your ant colony out in your backyard. And you go, gee, that's not too logical. I don't know that I would need one for the ant colony out in my backyard, but I'll listen anyway. So you find that you're willing to listen and you're courteous, but then you're also willing to stand back because you say, what do I need insurance for an ant colony for? Why? Doesn't make sense. Now, this is an exaggeration that I'm using, but I think you get the point. It is something that is not suitable. But this that I was looking at as the joker is someone that might try to sell you for some reason an item or make you aware or think that, gee, you should have long-term care insurance when maybe that's not something that you really want to do once you investigate it thoroughly, or maybe there's something else that goes on. And all you need to remember is the feelings that you get. It's that integrity with yourself, and then making it okay to be patient, to let things work out and not try to force anything or not buy into something just because, wow, this person's just, so good at promoting what they're doing. It's a process. It's a learning about how your intuitive system works.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
Very welcome.
And last, we have Judy. And Judy, oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think I ended up with 2 readings because I was just watching you, Donna, as you were talking about everybody, and I didn't see that she had sent me a message that I was getting a reading. So my first one was looking into the mirror and trying different things on and seeing different colors on and examining different aspects, and not to be in a box, and do art, music, dance, walk, try new foods, try cooking new foods. In 9 months, I'd probably find something that I would enjoy. And then I was the last one, and it was multiple images of multiple people and a monk, and being in a religious aspect of doing rituals and fire and divination, and during the time period of the Inquisition, died at 43, which left me with a bad taste in my mouth for joining groups that do harm to people. And I've got integrity coming through from that past life.
All right, and what was your question to me?
So I think that if I interpret what you said into what's actually happening into my life, we're building an addition onto the house here, and it was supposed to be done in July, but we're going to be moving in at the first of the year. So it's building, it's as big as a house. So I think that trying to get everything that I had when I was in Washington into the house that's here and figuring out what to do, what needs to be new, just moving into a brand new house, basically, from where I'm living in just a bedroom and a guest room in my sister's house. So that makes sense. And then the other one about the monk, I recently had a little tip with our builder, and it was, to me, calling in my integrity over it, and I just didn't let it go. And I think that's what you were picking up on, that one there. So I really don't have a question. I just thought it was gelling with what was going on in my life today.
Well, thank you very much. I know that we're coming close. Anessa, we're getting ready to close out the meeting. Am I correct?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I want to thank everyone who has participated in this evening. It has been an absolute joy. And just know that you can check out my radio shows, check out my website with my publications. That's seebo'sclassics.com. And also my office number, if you wanted to reach me for anything. I meet people privately as well. And then there's also, if you like my programming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, if you give a thumbs up on that, then my assistant, she sends out information about all these fabulous people that I have as a guest. So I'd like to just make one final comment that I make on every one of my shows that I do during the week, and that is, remember always, you're the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. And never forget that your mind belongs to you. And then when you're a part of the psychic experience and you're learning and you're growing and you're demonstrating and you're sharing, that enables you to grow and expand as a person. Don't let anybody take that away from you. That's your right, your privilege. Thank you so much for being with me this evening.